to Garo. Those of you who do not know what Garo is, you're going to learn. Those of you that already know what Garo is, you're going to be entertained. And those who don't know what Garo is are still going to be entertained. So let's just play the intro first. Is that really a song?
Yes. Well, you can all hear it, right?
Yay, the audio works now. So Garo, the reason I call it's like Kamen Rider meets Devil May Cry is because if you're familiar with Kamen Rider, you have people that have transformable items or belts or whatever. They transform into an armored hero that fights bad guys. Devil May Cry, you have characters that have cool coats, awesome camera angles, and they can transform into this limited run demon form called Devil Trigger. Well, in Garo, you've got something similar where they can transform in armor, but their armor has a time limit. I will get more into that in a little bit. First, though, I need to talk about series creator Keita Amemiya. Keita Amemiya was born in August of 1959. He ended up going to an art college in Japan, got hired by a special effects film company where he really learned the art of doing special effects. He released a movie in the 80s. He went on to also produce character designs and effects work for several anime series and tokusatsu series. He directed Chojin Sentai Jetman. He also worked on Kamen Rider Black RX. He wrote some episodes of Jew Ranger, which was the first series to become Power Rangers in America. And then he also went on, he worked on an anime called Iria Zoram, the animation. He also did a series of Kamen Rider movies in the late 90s when Toei was not doing any Kamen Rider TV shows. He directed them and came up with the character designs, along with a few other series which I will show clips from. And he also did work with Capcom for some series such as Onimusha 2, which is also why, even though the title is It's Like Kamen Rider Meets Devil May Cry, I also throw Onimusha into there, but the convention would not allow that length of a title. They could barely allow the title that I had. So here are just some clips of stuff he has worked on.
It's definitely him, and he's as weird as the rumors say. And his nerve dead too! You're the first guy that's ever thrown me.
Amazing.
Danger zone.
I am Keita, the one who destroys to bring justice.
Your eyes betray you. What? Your eyes reveal that you are thrilled to encounter a man who is stronger than you.
Whatever.
So, let's get started. My name is Gogandantis, the greatest swordsman of all demons.
What's that? Holy, awesome! Meat, veggies! Whoa! Even cake! Whoa, chestnuts too, bro! Oh, so lovely! What's the matter? Yeah! What's up, dude? Nothing. Bro, you sure about this? I'm gonna pig out for real!
Yeah.
Thanks for the meal!
Alright, so that series you just saw was a little series called Tweeny Witches, which seems quite different from what your Amemiya usually produces, since he is very big on horror and special effects. But as you can see, he does keep his signature designs, like in that little creature you saw in the first scene of that clip. Also, Hakaider was a villain character from a 70s series called Kikaider. In the 90s, he gave Hakaider his own movie, which was basically like watching Batman who kills everyone, but better than Zack Snyder's version. And then what made some of his Kamen Rider stuff special is that instead of having just monsters that were suits, he used claymation for a lot of the fights and everything. So as I said, he was a big master on special effects. Then, after several years where a lot of tokusatsu got a little bit more childish in tone because standards in Japan were changing, Keita Amemiya decided he wanted to do a toku series that would be geared towards adults, to harken back to those that grew up on Jetman and Kamen Rider Black, that they could enjoy as an adult. So he got a series that was put on at 1 a.m. Friday nights in Japan called Garo. And because it was Friday nights at 1 a.m., there were no rules then. He could do whatever he wanted. So the show would feature blood, nudity, lots of death, all that you can think of. And in the first season, he'd also have a bunch of horror writers in Japan write the episode stories for the show. Features a couple cool heroes. That one of them, the main character, his name is Koga. He inherits the title of Garo from his father. Basically, the series is about Makai Knights who fight evil demons that are just trying to destroy the world because they're evil demons. He can transform. He has this specialty ring because each Makai Knight has this emblem, familiar as it were, that's a piece of jewelry. The second Makai Knight, Zero, has a necklace that is his familiar. Like I said earlier, they have a time limit, which I won't go into what the time limit does if it runs out because it'd be spoiler material, but you do find out towards the end of the first season what does happen if that time limit counter does run out. Other things with the series is, usually, for the most part, if they wear a kick-ass coat, they're a hero and a Makai Knight. So if you see a character show up in the series with this awesome coat, you're like, he's a good guy and he's gonna kick ass. So I have here a little bit of clips of Garo and Zero. And another cool thing about this show is physics don't matter. Screw physics. Now, one thing Keita Amemiya is also big in, like I said, he was an effects person. A lot of the footage, like the suits, are actual practical effects in front of a green screen. He only would use CGI when it would either really enhance the episodes, like the monsters. He would use CGI, but a lot of times he preferred actual practical stuff, which also really enhances it, where a lot of shows do rely on CGI. Now, in the Garo series, they do also have their own special horses, because knights gotta ride something. So here's just a look at a quick clip of their horses.
My little pony, friendship is magic. I used to wonder what friendship could be, until you all shared its magic with me.
Imagine My Little Pony was that cool.
Well, to some people it is.
But
Moving on. Because I don't want to think about Twilight Sparkle.
so, moving away from the Makai Knights right now, the villains of the series are called horrors. They're demons that basically find humans that are weak-minded or in pain and use their suffering to basically to sell their soul to the horror, so the horror becomes that person. There's all different types. There's an evil clown that can control people to pretty much kill each other. There's one that loves to play games. There's actually one episode where there's a watch, that the watch itself is actually the horror, so whoever it attaches itself to dies. We have the one lady you saw earlier with the chains. She represents greed and uses money scams to find people that are willing to give her money, and then she'll eat them. So there's a lot of variety to it, and it's fun and engaging because every episode feels like a different horror show set in the same universe. There's even times in the series where 10 minutes will go by of focusing on that character that's the horror before you even actually see the hero show up on the screen. So here's a look at some of the horrors.
Go ahead. 結婚して。
誰がお前みたいな女と結婚するかよ。一回やっちまったらおしまいだよ。
私だってね、あんたの親父がくたばっちまえば遺産もらってさようなら。
That sound to lull me to sleep each night.
では質問。ジプシーがシャングリラの七色天使に会いに行った途中のコロシアムで出会った女が7人、魔物が7匹、狼が7匹、鳩が7羽、それぞれ荷物が7つ。荷物の中にはモンシロチョウが7匹。さて、七色天使に出会えたのは何人？何匹？何羽？10、9、8、
ジプシー以外は途中で出会っただけだ。
So that's just a taste of the horrors from the first season of the show. Also, so in the first season, not only do they have to contend with the horrors, they also have to contend with an evil Makai Knight by the name of Kiba. This shows up towards the end of the spoilers, so I can't, or towards the end of the season, so I can't go into too much without spoilers, but he's pretty badass. You can figure him out by follicle profiling. And in the first appearance, he has a kick-ass axe that is never seen again in the rest of the series. Now, when Garo came to an end in 2006, April of that year, I believe, that was pretty much the end of the franchise. It was just planned to be this one-shot series, nothing more, nothing less. Due to its popularity and feedback from Japanese viewers, Keita Amemiya decided to release a direct-to-DVD two-part story that would continue that and show us that there are more Makai Knights in the world. The first special, titled Beast of the Demon Knight, introduced another Makai Knight by the name of Tsubasa, who donned the armor titled Dan, who was the Knight of the South. In this special, they also fought a horror by the name of Legolas. After this special came out in 2006, that was pretty much it for Garo, until in 2010, new interest was garnered in the series. People were still demanding more. So they released a movie titled Red Requiem, which, because that was also the 3D craze at that time, they put this movie in theaters in 3D, so they went for 3D effects. And in this movie, so there's these characters, being it's Japan, which is very male-dominated society, all Makai Knights are male. The rule is a female cannot be a Makai Knight. Females are priestesses that are used to help Makai Knights out for when they need help to defeat a horror. So it introduced this one character named Reika, who, depending on who you are, you either absolutely hate her or you love her. I go on the hate side, as does she.
But there's some value to the type of character she is,
But she wants to be a Makai Knight. She's like, screw this BS gender rules. I want to be a Makai Knight no matter what. So she's introduced in this movie. Then there was also a special that went into more of a backstory for Kiba, which I do not have any clips for because I wanted to keep that, again, just there's so much with Kiba at the end. I don't want to spoil anything for that. But I do have here some clips of the special, Beast of the Demon Knight, and Red Requiem. Also worth noting, the US release, because Kraken Releasing has been releasing Garo in the States, they dubbed the Red Requiem movie, which the voice of Koga is the anime voice actor that's here at the con this weekend, Josh Greeley. Oh, and also in this special, Koga faces his deadliest enemy ever, calligraphy. So due to the success of the Red Requiem movie, they decided to go ahead and make another season of the TV series that continued the story of Koga and Zero. This one went a little bit more into dividing the development between Koga and Zero, whereas the first one was focused on Koga mostly. And this one also would do brand new types of horrors, and it was also the first series filmed in HD since it was now in the HD era. The downside is I feel like it felt that like horror movie grain film quality that you see in classic horror movies, but the writing is so top notch that in some ways it even outdoes the original. So I've got a couple clips here that are from some of my favorite scenes from this second season.
若い騎士の時代はもうすぐ終わる。そして我が真の守りし者となる。
お前も俺と同じはずだ。
This is the age of taking action. Viagra. Talk to your doctor. See if America's most prescribed ED treatment is right for you.
Now the cool thing about that episode with the samurai, that episode was meant to commemorate TFC, the film company that does Garo, their 50th anniversary from when they did their first samurai film. So they did an episode that had a samurai who is dying in the modern world, dying in his time, ends up meeting a horror and wakes up in the modern day and doesn't know what's going on, doesn't know why everyone's dressed, why no one wants to fight him. It's just, he's like, whoa, what's going on here? And they see Zero. He's like, oh, that reminds me of someone I saw when I was a kid. I want to fight that guy because he looks like a worthy warrior. And the first villain that you saw, the first fight was the season-long villain named Red Mask, who wants to kill all Makai Knights because he wants specifically for only there to be Makai priests and priestesses to take out the horrors, because he believes the Makai Knights are the reasons horrors keep existing. After the second season ended, there was another couple-year break between seasons for Garo. When they came back with a third season, they decided, well, they finished off Koga's story in a movie, so we want to do something new. Keita Amemiya wasn't available to do the third season, so someone else decided to helm the next season with Keita Amemiya's blessings. This guy decided he's going to do an alternate timeline story that's set in the future with a new character named Ryuga, and instead of doing practical effects, he decided to have the armor always be CGI, which fans did not react to very well, especially because most of the armor scenes in the episodes might be 15 seconds long. The other issue with the season is the horrors, instead of having full-blown bodies like you saw in the previous clips, where the horror was like the chain lady and all that, a lot of the horrors were basically their mouths opened up. Like, have you ever played some of the recent Resident Evil games where the Las Plagas pretty much just open up their mouths instead of being zombies? It's basically like that, so I call them Las Plagas horrors. So here are some clips from the third season of Garo with a lot of CGI. So after the abysmal feedback from season 3, There was a fourth season that I'll get into in a little bit that covered a different character. Season 5 of the series went back into Ryuga's universe, but Keita Amemiya decided to take control of the series again. So he brought back actual armors, he brought back stylish fights, and also, for those of you who might be familiar with Super Sentai and Kamen Rider, there's been a bunch of actors that reoccur throughout these shows. Like Zero was in Kamen Rider 5. Time Green was one of the characters in the movie clip that saw the little girl. In this show, and Gokai Silver was one of those Makai Knights you saw in CGI. In this series, Kamen Rider Decade is the villain. So here's a clip I took for what is by far the most badass fight in the show, despite it actually not using armor, because it shows that when you have that style, you don't need the armor to be cool.
こんな年寄り引っ張り出して黄金騎士も落ちたもんだな。
Also, Decade there, Ginga, he was such a popular character, he also has received his own spin-off series, his own prequel movie, and is still going to be in part of the series for the Ryuga universe. So they finally had a hit with that one. However, before they found out how to make that universe work right, the fourth season of the show, when Keita Amemiya first returned, he was like, okay, first of all, we're bringing the actual practical effects back, we're bringing the practical suit back, and this series is going to be set in the future with Ryuga, who is the son of Koga, and the female lead from the first 2 seasons named Karu. Now, there's also, what's interesting about this clip is they also make some digs at CGI effects. And I've got a prize to give away here. The first part to Garo Season 1, Part 1. I guess I just said Part 1 twice. So, pay attention to the horror movie references in this clip, because the one that gets the most references will get the copy.
辟易します。そういうお前は何なんだ。もちろんクリーチャーアナログに限りますよ。
I love that scene when the chainsaw just comes through the screen and slices through. All right, anyone want to take a crack at the horror movie references?
Scream, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Hellraiser, and Drunk as Silence of the Lamb.
Okay, there is one more.
Two more.
Well, yes. If anybody can guess them, if not, that's...
Anyone else? All right. Well, what are the other two?
Army of Darkness.
I was wondering, the arm.
Chainsaw arm.
I know, it's like,
And Pet Cemetery.
Pet Cemetery?
Yep,
Pet
some of the
with
skull.
fencing.
I haven't really seen that
But
one.
congratulations.
You know, I'm a little drunk, so I got Texas Chainsaw still in my head with the chainsaw.
Yeah, because it's a dual thing. It could be Texas Chainsaw or Army of Darkness. Because, well, I'm not going to get into that. I'll actually talk more about horror tomorrow during my panel, but...
Another cool thing in that episode is he sends Ryuga into a zombie movie, and it's like, back when George Romero created zombies, they were slow moving. Then, when 28 Days Later came out, they became the infected and they were fast runners, so suddenly the movie he's stuck in shifts into fast running zombies. So, with Garo's popularity taking off everywhere, they did a bunch of spin-offs. There has been some anime adaptations to the series. 3 series right now. There has been a movie on the 2 Makai priestesses I talked about. Well, one of them I talked about earlier, Reika, and another one who appeared in the first season named Jabi. There has been one series where Koga's butler would actually start off the episode, talk a little moral, and then they would go into an individual story somewhere set in the Garo universe. Sometimes it'd be one set in Koga's universe, sometimes Ryuga's, sometimes it would be Ryuga's. Then there was also another spin-off on the Makai Priestess from the 4th season with Ryuga. So there's been a ton of Garo stuff. So I just here have a little sampler pack of what else there has been.
りし者。魔界騎士と魔界法師は人々からそう呼ばれております。それは魔獣の魔の手から我々を守るものという意味だけではないのです。
Become. That's just sad. Everyone looked up to you. Hell, I looked up to you. You're pathetic.
Did anyone see the movie Tron?
No.
No.
Yes. No.
So the three anime series, one takes place in medieval Europe, one takes place in feudal Japan, and the last one, that, as I made the Tron references, takes place in modern day Las Vegas. So that is pretty much the end of the Garo presentation. The first 2 seasons and its movies and specials in between seasons 1 and 2 have been released by Kraken Releasing. They just have one movie left to release to finish off Koga's story, and then hopefully they can then move on to the other stuff. And then Funimation has released the anime series. Any questions about the franchise? Nope. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed this panel and have a good night.